This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon, a powerful storm system headed up the East Coast is the same one that spawned at least 30 reported tornadoes in the south this weekend. At least 19 people are confirmed dead. Now that storm bringing heavy wind and rain to the northeast. ABC's Elizabeth Herr has the latest.
The damage done, devastating and deadly. This in Adel, Georgia, an entire mobile home park wiped out in minutes.
We just laid there and we prayed, Lord, please let it pass over, let it pass over.
It looks like a nuclear bomb went off.
Georgia's governor declaring a state of emergency in 7 counties after reported tornadoes packing winds of up to 70 miles per hour tore across the state.
Oh, mercy, it looked like a war zone. I mean, lines down, trees down, aluminum everywhere.
I was like, wow, this is, it's real.
The same system also wreaked havoc in Mississippi and Louisiana near the Texas border, leaving more homes ripped apart and debris everywhere. Meanwhile, out west, mudslides were a growing concern in Southern California, with water rushing down hillsides and turning roads into rivers.
In all the years I've been here, this is way worse than anything I've seen.
Flash floods over the weekend kept first responders there busy with high water rescues, including 2 people trapped in this truck, both rescued safely. And back in our area, it is windy, but it's not raining just yet. But forecasters say it's only a matter of time. So already there are school closures and crews ready for flooding and power outages. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Here at home, those strong winds ripped off the roofs of several mobile homes in Manatee County last night. This particular mobile home is in Heather Hill Estates in Bradenton, where debris was scattered throughout the park. Fortunately, no one was hurt there. Elsewhere, Holmes Beach officials are reporting some minor power outages, but no major damage or flooding. In South Sarasota County, strong winds forcing the closure of the Venice's South Jetty Park this morning. That includes the Venice Fishing Pier. Closure is due to increased wave action and incoming high tides. The pier is expected to reopen tomorrow morning after a walkthrough. The jetty will reopen as well tomorrow morning, as well after some cleanup there. As of today, Sarasota County emergency management officials say there have been no major reports of flooding or damage in the area from our stormy weather. Let's find out what's happening today on a blustery day on the Suncoast. Here's meteorologist John Scalzi. John?
Yeah, blustery is absolutely right. In fact, darn right windy with some wind gusts nearly 50 miles an hour and under some thunderstorms this morning. And I think the thing to note on our tower cam here as we put it into motion, or the Sarasota Bay webcam from the Van Wezel, is just how fast those clouds are moving across the region. Some upper level winds still very strong and local winds still very strong as well. 20 to 25 mile per hour winds with gusts to 35, not uncommon through the morning hours and into the afternoon all across the region. And that, of course, has led to a number of issues that are wind related across the Suncoast. The good news is that if you look at the thunderstorm outlook locally, things are very quiet. We don't really have any issues here in terms of severe weather today. But we do have issues, mostly related to the how angry the surf is and the wave action out there. We have a lake wind advisory for inland lakes. We have a gale warning up for our waters, very brisk winds out there. High surf advisory, rip current advisory, small craft advisory, all of those things designed to tell you it's not a good day for boating, basically. A good strong fetch of wind off Gulf waters, picking up moisture and slinging it back in this direction. The good news is these storms are not severe in nature. We're not looking at severe thunderstorms here. We don't have any risk of tornadic activity, but we certainly have some fast-moving cells. Some of these are scooting right along at about 40 miles an hour or so. So just taking that into account, you can see that we're going to have issues there. The good news is that this morning's high tide is astronomically lower in height than yesterday's tide. We have a 1.1 foot high tide this morning. Yesterday it was almost 2 feet. So you can look at the tide gauges at Port Manatee and see that whereas today we have a tide running about a foot above normal, yesterday that tide was running almost 3 feet above normal. So a much better potential yesterday for flooding than today. Forecast calls for it to not get very warm today or for the next 24 hours actually. Temperatures fairly flat and these scattered showers are out throughout the afternoon. Complete forecast coming up in a minute. Scott.
All right, John, thank you. An employee with the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office is on the opposite side of the law today. Deputies arresting 46-year-old Frankie Eugene Bybee for exploitation of the elderly. Allegations of harassment led to a criminal investigation and subsequent felony charges. During a press conference just a short time ago, Sheriff Tom Knight said Bybee harassed and tried to murder the victim after trying to extort money from her. Bybee worked with the Sheriff's Office for 18 years. We'll have more details on this arrest coming up in our evening newscast. An effort to stop the expansion of phosphate mining in Manatee County continues as a vote fast approaches. Thursday, county commissioners will consider a zoning change to allow the Mosaic Phosphate Company to expand mining operations at its Wingate East mine. The rezoning application is for 3,600 acres in East Manatee County, near where the Myakka and Peace Rivers meet. According to the County Planning Commission, 24 homes are within 1,000 feet of that proposed Wingate East property. ABC business commentator Richard Stern joins us now with a look at the day on Wall Street and down arrows across the board so far on this first day of a new week. Richard.
First day of the new week and the first trading day of the Trump administration. I have to say that while all three indices we follow on a regular basis are in fact lower, none of them by as much as 0.5%. So the damage appears to be fairly modest. We aren't yet at the low of the day, or we're not at the low of the day, which was -80. That was fairly early in the day. So let's take a look where we are right now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down by 73 points, less than 0.4% at 19,753.83. That on volume of 319 million shares. The Nasdaq down as well by 1/3%, just over 18 points at 5,536.95. That on volume of 644 million shares. And the S&P down, as you would expect everything else, down by less than 0.5%, down almost 11 points at 2,260.48. McDonald's, you remember that company? Well, McDonald's came out and surprised Wall Street today, a positive surprise, announcing quarterly earnings of $1.41 versus $1.31. That's an increase of 10%. And believe it or not, same-store sales worldwide were up by more than 2%, while same-store sales in the U.S. were down by 2%. And the reason for that, McDonald's is a victim of its own success. In the same quarter last year, McDonald's brought out all-day breakfast. It's been an absolute home run. And when you compare the current sales with last year's current sales when it was brand new, coming within 2% of that number, McDonald's says is absolutely fine. And Scott, kind of a funny finish to this story, but McDonald's said the biggest problem they have right now is that their McFlurry machines are frequently broken, and it makes for very unhappy clients. So they're working very hard to make sure their McFlurry machines are up and running.
That's an important element of their business, definitely. All right, Richard, thank you so much. We'll see you again at 5, right?
I will be here.
All right. Thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney is on the Suncoast today as part of the Ringling College Library Association's lecture series. Cheney is speaking at the Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall. He was presented a portrait of himself by a Ringling College of Art and Design student. He was the vice president for 8 years, of course, during George W. Bush's administration. The Republican touched on his political career and shared his personal views on the Trump presidency and his cabinet picks.
I look at current set of circumstances. I think they're off to a pretty good start. I don't work for Mr. Trump, obviously, but I say I did vote for him. I supported him. I'm glad he won. I think they're off to a pretty good start.
Cheney, best known for his involvement in the national security matters following the attacks of September 11th. Time now to head over to the kitchen and check in for the first time with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. Judy?
Trending now are the old-fashioned pudding cakes, where it's moist and it's not quite a pudding, it's more like a sticky toffee kind of thing. Well, not only are they trending, but making desserts in your crock pot, your slow cooker is in. So I found a recipe online by a great blogger, and you'll be able to see that on mysuncoast.com on the dining page. And I decided to take her recipe to a challenge to see if it works for a gingerbread pudding cake. What sounds better when it's cooler outside is to do this, and this is something that's going to take 2.5 to 3 hours after the prep. So you can put it in, they can go for a power walk or do something else, but we're going to bring the flavors of ginger, and of course I made cinnamon whipped cream for on top. Bring it all together with some molasses in just a few minutes, and we'll show you how to make this great dessert all in that one pot.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC 7. We're here for you.
Cancer does change people's lives. It is frightening. The treatment for fear is hope.
And what works for you is not necessarily going to work for somebody else. It does take a whole team. This is a facility that really cares about the outcome of the patients. So our job at Sarasota Memorial Hospital is to meet the needs of that individual any way we need to meet them.
Come out to the best party of the season, the Goodwill Mardi Gras Gala on February 28th at Michael's on E. Tickets at experiencegoodwill.org.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
I am an originalist.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC 7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Well, across the state of Florida yesterday, storms kicked up winds pretty good. We had some 30, 40 mile an hour winds pretty uniformly across the area, with some isolated gusts mostly to the north of us, up to 64, 65 miles per hour. So numerous instances of tornadoes and severe thunderstorms particularly. 69 degrees current air temperature. Dew point is at 57. We still have a wind that's strong out there, coming in now out of the west-northwest at about 20 miles per hour. It's been between 20 and 25 all day long, with gusts as high as 35 being reported. Higher than that, actually, but over the last couple hours, gusts about 35 or so. A lot of cloud cover out there, and we have some rain showers in progress. Those winds just kind of picking things up and slinging them across. None of these really severe, but if you notice this little cloud icon over one of the cells there, that's the computer designated that particular cell as a strong thunderstorm cell, or not even a thunderstorm, a strong cell, but not necessarily close to severe. We probably have about a 40 mile an hour gust in that at the worst. It's now moved onshore. Things pretty quiet across the area, but you're going to see this throughout the afternoon. Scattered showers moving onshore. Occasionally gusty winds. This one right here in the process of decay now that it's moved onshore, but still providing some fairly good downpours of rain down around the Venice area and Laurel, Nokomis. That is in the process, as I mentioned, of falling apart. It's not the only place in the country where there's some issues, though. We have around the Washington, D.C. area snow showers, falling icy conditions, and some pretty heavy rainfall lifting north right toward the Washington, D.C. area. So it's going to be a slow commute along the northern corridor if you're traveling today. As far as our rainfall goes, you know what? We needed some rain. If you look at our meteorological winter, which starts December 1st, and you look at how much rain we've gotten, we're almost 2 inches shy. So it was nice to pick up inch and a quarter, and even in some cases close to 2-inch rainfalls. Didn't need this really strong winds that accompanied it, but nobody was hurt, and the damage was fairly minimal. We have across the region this strong wind picking up these clouds, slinging them back in our direction, and we will have cloud cover around today, but intermittent periods of sunshine as well. It's going to kind of hold the temperature down to around the 70 mark, more or less. High pressure tomorrow continues to build in across the region. The low pressure area lifts off to the north and to the east, and the pressure gradient across the state relaxes. Our winds start to die down and shift a little bit more to the northwest. That'll help with coastal surf conditions as well. So cooler temperatures, windy today, and calmer winds tomorrow. The RPM computer model shows that fetch of air off Gulf waters, picking up the showers, kind of spreading them across the region this afternoon. And then tomorrow, a lot more sunshine. We might get wall-to-wall full sun tomorrow. It'll still be a little bit breezy, but it won't be windy like it is today. So if you look at where the thunderstorm potential is today, it's not around us. It's actually in the Washington, D.C. area with that low pressure area lifting north. For us, we have standard kind of showers around. Well, not so standard. There'll be, you know, some pretty gusty winds in some of those showers. But we're not looking at severe. We're not looking at any kind of issues with thunder and lightning either, for the most part. Could get one clap or two of thunder, but that's about it. Wave heights still pretty high across the region. Obviously, lousy boating weather. The further out you go, the worse it gets. There's gale warnings up for the entire waters of the Gulf, and there's a lake wind advisory up for landlocked bodies of water as well. So obviously, terrible boating weather today. Tomorrow, breezy, sunny. Daytime high around 72 or so. Another front comes through on Thursday, knocks our temperatures down a little more. And all in all, a pretty benign weather week after we get through today. Scott?
All right, John, thank you so much. The risk of dying from cervical cancer might be much higher than previously thought. Doctors are now finding that 99% of all cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. New studies published in the National Cancer Institute show black women are dying from cervical cancer at a rate 77% higher than once believed. White women at 44% higher. But doctors say cervical cancer is highly preventable thanks to advances in screening.
The discussion in this country has changed. So, oh, do I need a pap smear, which most women translate into, I don't need to see a gynecologist. I would tell you, forget about it. See a gynecologist once a year. You'll get screened appropriately.
Another important component to preventing cervical cancer is the HPV vaccine for preteens. Experts say 80% of sexually active young men and women will be exposed to HPV in their lifetimes, which is why it's so important for boys and girls to be vaccinated at a young age. Some encouraging news today for former President George H.W. Bush and the former First Lady Barbara Bush. Both were admitted to the hospital last week in Houston. Doctors there say the former president is recovering well from pneumonia, and he's moving out of the hospital's intensive care unit today. Mrs. Bush was admitted for bronchitis, and she left the hospital this morning. Well, among the things that can put a strain on a marriage, snoring. According to new studies, about 90 million Americans snore, and their partners lose 1 hour of sleep every night on average because of it. Experts say snoring is such a big problem, 1 in 6 couples sleep in separate rooms. And while it doesn't seem to be a big deal compared to other issues couples may have, doctors say it can have some long-term effects.
Some couples don't even realize that sleep deprivation, increased irritability, sometimes even anger, are being focused on this lack of quality sleep that's building up in the relationship.
According to doctors, snoring is actually a condition that can be associated with sleep apnea, sinusitis, or nasal obstruction. All are conditions that can be treated medically. Still to come in your Suncoast News, President Trump begins his first week as Commander-in-Chief. What topics are on his agenda? And the Atlanta Falcons and New England Patriots are now headed to the Super Bowl. We'll look at the road it took to get there next.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
With Granny Nannies, they get to stay in the comfort of their own home.
It still gives them the dignity and the respect that they deserve. I do everything I can to make their lives easier.
To see them smile, to be there on their bad days as well as their good days, and be able to make their bad days a better day. It's about giving them the quality of life they deserve. I am Granny Nannies, a helping hand and a gentle heart.
Since 1928, Karastan has been setting the standard in carpets and rugs.
producing non-allergenic wools that won't promote the growth of bacteria or dust mites like other carpets will. Kerastan wools actively remove contaminants from the indoor air, making your home healthier. And there are many colors and patterns and textures to choose from. Come see for yourself.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Start the year off with a great deal during the Start Something New event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Ram trucks are built tough and have plenty of power to handle any job with all the comfort you'd expect in a luxury vehicle. And right now, all 2016 quad cabs are over 20% off with new Ram trucks starting at just $19,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Join us for Sarasota Opera's 2017 Winter Festival, opening February 11th. Featuring Puccini's most famous opera, Madame Butterfly, Rossini's delightful comedy, The Italian Girl in Algiers, Poulenc's heartbreaking Dialogues of the Carmelites, and the medieval thriller The Love of Three Kings by Italo Montemezzi. Tickets are on sale now. Call 941-328-1300 or visit sarasotaopera.org.
Wouldn't it be great if you had a sofa covered in fabric that's kid-proof? Now you can! Introducing Kid-Proof by Roe, now at Bacon's Furniture. For a limited time only, save 40% off Kids-Proof sofas at Bacon. Just look for the little green hand and select from hundreds of different fabrics that resist almost anything life throws at it. Some fabrics repel liquid, and all the amazing styles and comfortable fabrics are easy to clean. Kid-Proof sofas, now 40% off at Bacon's Furniture in Sarasota.
The lineup for the Super Bowl is now set. The New England Patriots will be taking on the Atlanta Falcons in Houston less than 2 weeks from now. ABC's Jesse Palmer shows us how the two teams got there.
Tom Brady and Bill Belichick have done it again.
Touchdown, New England.
Heading to their 7th Super Bowl, a new record for a quarterback and a coach.
Dropping back to the 19. Finding Edelman.
Brady putting on a passing clinic against the Steelers, throwing for 384 yards, including 3 touchdowns.
Back to him they go. The flea flicker. Brady to the end zone, and it's a New England touchdown.
After the game, Brady posting this Instagram photo of himself and his wife with the caption, "That's some home field advantage, let's go." But the AFC title game not without controversy. In the hours leading up to their crushing defeat, the Steelers received an early 3 a.m. wake-up call when the fire alarm went off at their Boston hotel, a now-arrested Pats fan behind the prank. In the days leading up to the game, at least 15 Pittsburgh players came down with the flu. Illness also a factor in the NFC Championship game. Several Green Bay Packers, including quarterback Aaron Rodgers, suffering from the virus. Not a great time to face Atlanta Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan, who lived up to his Matty Ice nickname with 4 touchdown passes.
Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. It was a touchdown.
Even running the ball in for a 5th.
And a touchdown.
For a 44-21 win.
That's Jesse Palmer reporting. Now, Brady is 4-0 over his career against Atlanta, but of course it isn't against this Atlanta team. And he's now going for his 5th Super Bowl trophy, which would be a record. Today marks the start of the Orioles Health and Fitness Challenge on the Suncoast. The 5-week program is a collaboration between the Orioles and Sarasota County schools. The team is trying to encourage healthy lifestyles among middle school students in the area. The project was launched last year, and now it will return and focus on teaching students about physical fitness, healthy eating, and tobacco-free living. Let's get back to the kitchen now and see how that gingerbread pudding is coming along with Chef Judy. Judy?
Okay, let's get started. You're going to be using your slow cooker in high. You're going to take out that casserole pan that it's made for the cooking, and you're going to spray it with a little food release spray. Then we're going to get out the mixer. So I have a half a stick of butter and sugar, and we're going to blend that together. And then we're going to add just 1 egg. Now, when you're baking, remember large egg, not extra large. Extra large really does change the consistency of a dish. So this alone of what we're making, I know it gets noisy when I'm turning this on, this alone is going to feed a good 6 people, which is perfect. So now we're going to add the molasses. I'll put that down for a minute. And of course, we want to have a really good quality of powdered ginger. If you haven't checked your spice cabinet in the last 6 months, and certainly if you haven't checked it in a year, it's time to really get rid of those items because they've gone stale. They really do. Things like that do go stale. And we want to make sure that we're using really good flavors, especially when it comes to ground ginger. I just got a little packet over at the Fresh Market here. Now, the original recipe calls for half a teaspoon, but I love ginger. So I'm going in for 1.25 teaspoons just to give it that extra oomph. We can add a little nutmeg, or you know what else works is apple pie or pumpkin pie spice. It still gives all those little blends together that you want to give it a pop as well. So we bring this back up, give it a little mix. And then when we go on commercial break, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 1/4 cups of whole wheat flour. And I'm going to add that in sparingly. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of hot water. Now, when you add the hot water, it's really okay that it's going to just be a little bit, there might be a little pieces of butter in the consistency, and that's really okay. So I'm up to 1 cup, so we'll do 1 1/4. And of course, whenever we're baking, we have to have really good, high quality vanilla. So we're going to add about 1 teaspoon, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Make sure you scrape down the bowl, and when we come back, we'll be ready to make the topping. And oh man, I'm telling you, it's really good. She nailed it.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
In town? On the town, The Mark offers landmark living in the center of everything you love about Sarasota. Priced from the 700s, spacious residences and elevated club-level amenities create a private oasis in the sky. Promenade shopping and dining put the best of downtown downstairs. Sales gallery open daily at the corner of Pineapple and State Street just south of Main. The Mark, Sarasota. Presented by Coulter.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee County since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Get the new year off to a great start with safety and peace of mind. Subaru was named the 2016 Best Overall Brand, Most Trusted, and Best Performance Brand by Kelley Blue Book. And ALG named Subaru its top mainstream brand for residual value for 2016. Now you can lease a new Subaru Outback for just $229 a month or get 0% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Police in San Antonio, Texas are calling a deadly shooting at a mall there a robbery gone bad. 2 men robbed a jewelry store in the mall yesterday. Police say as they were leaving, a Good Samaritan who tried to stop them was shot and killed. One shopper talked about what she saw.
We just heard a bunch of pops, gunfire, and then we heard people running and screaming and people knocking each other down. Us 3 hid in a closet.
One shopper who was carrying a licensed concealed weapon then shot and wounded the robber who killed the man. Both suspects were then arrested. Here in Florida, trial begins today for a man accused of conspiring to detonate a bomb at a Key West beach. Opening statements taking place this morning in the case of 25-year-old Harlem Suarez. In 2015, Suarez told an informant he wanted to detonate a backpack bomb on a Key West beach. He was arrested after accepting a fake bomb from an FBI employee who posed as an extremist. Prosecutors say Suarez drew inspiration from the Islamic State or ISIS for his alleged plot. His trial is expected to last about 2 weeks. Caught on camera, an Ohio divorce lawyer is caught hypnotizing and molesting a female client. He's now behind bars, and now investigators believe there could be more victims. ABC's Mara Schiavocampo has the story.
Shocking new video of an Ohio divorce attorney hypnotizing a female client so that he could take advantage of her.
Every part of you goes like 1, 2, 3, right?
Watch as 59-year-old Michael Fine puts the woman into a trance without her knowledge or consent, saying it's just a breathing exercise.
Let's take a deep breath.
But Fine uses his hypnosis to make the woman walk over to the couch where he initiates a sexual encounter.
Your entire body is a vessel of pleasure.
Before awakening her and acting like nothing ever happened.
Okay, so we have some papers to go over.
That's when police bust in and nab him.
Police officers, step over here. Yes, sir.
The video, part of a 2014 sting operation. The woman alerting authorities after noticing her clothing would be disheveled after their appointments.
The basic law of hypnosis is that you cannot make people do what they don't want to do. However, we can affect the things that you want or that you desire.
And she wasn't the only one.
He ruined a lot of people's lives.
Melissa, who doesn't want to reveal her last name, says she too was hypnotized and molested by Fine.
You'd like to hold your hand. He's right there with you. He's going to protect you. And he was actually the one who was the predator.
Now, Fine is serving 12 years in prison for hypnotizing 6 female clients after pleading guilty to 5 counts of kidnapping and 1 count of attempted kidnapping, all with a sexual motivation specification, and now faces 6 civil lawsuits.
She unfortunately met a very bad lawyer who took advantage of her, who was a predator, who breached her trust.
Overseas, crews may start using heavy equipment to speed up a rescue for people trapped in an Italian hotel following an avalanche. At least 23 people are still buried at that mountain resort. Emergency crews believe there could still be pockets under the snow where people might be alive. 5 people have been confirmed dead so far. The avalanche hit the hotel on Wednesday. Here in the States, dramatic video captures a treacherous rescue of 2 women who fell into rough waves in San Diego. Rescue crews say the 2 women were on a cliff when a wave knocked them into the ocean. A witness nearby was able to get one of them, and lifeguards rescued the other woman. It took about 40 minutes, though, to find her. She needed CPR and was taken to a trauma center, but both women are expected to recover and be okay. In New York, 3 people are thanking firefighters and police officers who came to the rescue after their boat capsized in icy waters. The men were coming back from duck hunting when the boat suddenly took on water and flipped over. They were stranded in water for about 30 minutes before one of them managed to call for help on a cell phone, which fortunately had a protective case on it and was still working. Police and firefighters rushed to their aid and were able to rescue all 3.
Thing for them to do.
Thank God they were there, because if they didn't come, we wouldn't have made it back.
One of the men is a MS survivor. The other is 16 years old. The waters were a frigid 42 degrees. All of them suffered from hypothermia and were shaken up, but ultimately are okay, thanks to that rescue. Good lesson, I think, if you go out on the water to have one of those protective cases, because you just never know,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, 3 lucky people there. That's kind of what worries me today, is that there'll be some people who think they can handle that wave action out there. And
even with the winds.
Gale force.
Yeah,
you know,
they're blowing today.
They are blowing today. But we've got some reports in from the National Weather Service of some of the wind speeds that have been around the area. Sarasota clocked in a 48-mile-an-hour wind speed. Venice 54. Fort Myers came in at 47. The highest that I've seen is Citrus coming in at 64. Of course, wind speeds could have been higher in places where those gauges weren't. So, you know, obviously, gusty winds continue today, and that's the reason for all of these warnings that are up, or advisories, rather. Lake wind advisory, gale warnings for our area waters, high surf advisory, rip current advisory. I mean, you could have some 35-knot winds out there, even higher, 40-knot gusts. So obviously, horrible boating day. We're going to have some showers around today, off and on throughout the day today. Some of them could produce some gusty winds. I mean, they're really hauling across the area at about 40 miles an hour. So even without the winds being pushed down to the surface, you still have some very fast-moving cells that could kick up winds all by themselves. And torrential downpours of rain at times, but very fast-moving downpours of rain. And most of the rain that we'll see will be characterized by kind of light showers and that sort of thing. All of this kind of changes tomorrow, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a few. Scott.
All right, John, thank you. After millions of women marched throughout the country over the weekend, people are now calling one song the anthem of the Women's March movement.
I can't keep quiet.
A group of women in Washington, D.C. performed an a cappella version of a song titled I Can't Keep Quiet. A Los Angeles singer originally wrote the song as a way to heal from physical and sexual abuse, but says she thought it would be a powerful song for women across the country to join in together to sing. A cluster of singers practiced this song online through Skype and only met in person 2 days before the march. The song now has more than 8 million views. Video of the a cappella performance is going viral now on YouTube. President Trump, meantime, is getting to work in Washington today as the Senate plans to vote on 2 more of his cabinet nominees. But the new White House is also being questioned on the message that the administration chose to send in its first press briefing. ABC's Lana Zak is at the U.S. Capitol with more.
The first order of business in President Trump's first work week is business.
The regulations are going to be cut massively, and the taxes are going to be cut way down.
The president met with executives from Ford, Lockheed Martin, and others, pledging to roll back environmental regulations, and he said he would be imposing new tariffs on businesses that move overseas. The president then signed executive orders regarding trade and energy. The action on international trade is just one of several items that has foreign governments concerned. Massive diplomatic work awaits with Rex Tillerson, the president's pick for Secretary of State. The Senate is expected to vote on the nomination of Tillerson and Mike Pompeo as the new head of the CIA.
So I only like to say that.
Over the weekend, the president visited the CIA, and standing in front of the Wall of Fallen Heroes, he blamed the media for his remarks questioning the U.S. intelligence on Russian hacks.
And they sort of made it sound like I had a feud with the intelligence community. And I just want to let you know, the reason you're number one stop, it is exactly the opposite.
Also far from the truth, this comment by White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period.
This photographic evidence, stats on metro ridership, and eyewitness reports all indicate that statement is not true, leading many to wonder why the White House would choose to make that public statement.
Fundamentally, the size of the crowds on Inauguration Day do not matter to the lives of most Americans. But what does matter, a commitment to the facts. And we expect that the White House will be asked about that later today. Reporting from the Capitol, Lana Zak, ABC News.
In consumer news today, a computer glitch causes hundreds of delays for United Airlines over the weekend. The glitch grounding domestic flights for about 2.5 hours yesterday. At least 6 flights had to be canceled. 200 more were delayed. The airline is calling the glitch an IT issue. To accommodate passengers who were inconvenienced, the airline is now waiving flight change fees through Wednesday. A recall is underway for Sierra Nevada Brewing. There have been reports of glass breaking and falling inside of its bottled beer bottles. So far, there have been no customer complaints or injuries from the flaw. The recall applies to Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale and other varieties of beer in 12-ounce bottles from its North Carolina brewery. Florida is among the states affected. Well, we now know what caused the Samsung iPhone 7s to explode. Following an investigation that took months, Samsung Electronics announcing the root of the problems were poorly designed and manufactured batteries. The flaws are being blamed on 2 suppliers, but Samsung did not identify the companies. The issue has been a black eye for the company, damaging the brand and costing it more than $5 billion. Samsung is hoping to move past the issue as it preps its next big flagship phone, most likely to be called the Galaxy S8. That's expected to be released sometime in the spring. Let's get back to the kitchen now and see how lunch is coming along with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher.
Now that we've made the base of the gingerbread cake, it's time to get the part that makes it all pudding-like. So you're going to use 6 tablespoons of brown sugar. Now I'm going to just show you in the bowl to make it easier for you to see with our screen and our mirror. But basically what we do is we take the brown sugar, the 6 tablespoons, and we just spread it around the top. Okay, so once we have 6 tablespoons, then we're going to take some warm water and some melted butter, and that's going to go on top. Do not stir it in. That's what's so great about that. So we're halfway there. 3, 4, and instead of putting it in a measuring cup, it is better to do it by the tablespoon, so you can make sure that it's spread out, and this will make that sticky pudding part of it. Okay, and there we go, the last one, and there we go. You can use light or dark brown sugar. It doesn't make a difference. Dark brown sugar, of course, has more molasses. Then we take 3/4 of a cup of hot water and a 1/4 cup of butter, and like I said, that goes right on top, and that's your slow cooking process. Now, I've already done one, and it took somewhere between 2.5 and 3 hours on high. You just check for the sponginess, and that's how you'll know that it's done. But the whole house started to smell like gingerbread, and I really loved that. So when you come back for a taste, I'm gonna top this delicious dessert with a little cinnamon whipped cream. If you don't want to do whipped cream, another option is just buy some eggnog and pour a little eggnog and a little rum in that right on top, and it's going to be beautiful. Simple as can be. And my last trick is I love crystallized ginger. I give these jars as gifts all the time, and I keep one year-round in the cabinet. It's good if you just want it as a digestive or pop it in your tea, but I love to just take a piece and serve that, smash it and serve it in the bowl. So now it's time to serve. We're going to get our bowl ready, and I'm going to use something. I'm going to warm my serving bowl. So this can be made ahead of time, and we warm our serving bowl, and then I'm actually just going to scoop out some of this great goodness and give you a show here. Ooh, it's going to be so good. I love anything that says gingerbread. I love it. So when we come back, I'll top it with whipped cream, and we'll be ready to serve it, and it just feels like a cool, crisp day for dessert. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
ABC 7 News at 7 weeknights.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC 7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Go ahead. Make a fashion statement. Demand something more than just ordinary. Capture elegance in every turn and drive with flair. Where beautiful styling is standard. Stop in and take a test drive. I'll guarantee you'll never go back to plain vanilla again. The all-new 2017 Fiat 500, starting at $14,999. Only at Sunset Fiat in Sarasota.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Current air temperature coming in at 69 degrees. We have a 57-degree dew point. Dew points are falling. It's getting a little bit drier as we progress through time. Winds, though, still breezy. West-northwest coming in at about 20. Those strong winds off Gulf waters picking up the moisture and slinging a few clouds containing rain showers back our way. Fast-moving storms as well. About 30-mile-per-hour storms, 30 to 40 sometimes. These cells are particularly most dense down from about Osprey south through Gasparilla. There are some periods of heavier rainfall like they're having in Port Charlotte right now, but otherwise we're looking at light to moderate rain for the most part. And we have a couple of stronger cells that are lined up with northern parts of Manatee County and the Skyway Bridge, and those will be racing through over the course of the next hour or so. A lot of cloud cover across the region, kind of slung back around that frontal boundary, which has now cleared the state actually and is producing those strong winds out of the northwest. The high-pressure ridge is going to build in with time, and that's going to provide us with a lot more sunshine tomorrow. But it's a traveler's nightmare in many parts of the country. A low-pressure area, coastal low lifting northward, is going to produce some very heavy rainfall today from Washington, D.C., and then this evening on up through New York State, New York City, and sorry, not New York State, New York City, and then upstate New York. They'll probably see some snow showers that'll carry on up into down east Maine. That's going to lead to some really massive airport delays. High pressure for us, though, brings us some fairly nice weather over the next several days, but definitely some cooler temperatures. Will be actually kind of seasonable for this time of year. We've been so above average that this is the kind of weather that we would have minus the showers. And tomorrow, I think, will be pretty typical of a winter's day for us. The winds will be a little bit lighter as well. Cooler temperatures, windy today, calmer tomorrow, I think. So we do have some major airport delays. Taking a look at some of the values right now. They're pretty impressive, especially up around the New York area where, Newark is coming in at 2 hours and 38-minute delays already, and LGA coming in at LaGuardia coming in at 2 hours and 5 minutes. So, if you're expecting people to arrive from those airports or you are heading off to those airports, pack your patience because it's going to be a slow go. RPM computer model shows the effect of that wind fetch coming in off Gulf waters, picking up some of these showers and slinging them back in this direction throughout the remainder of at least half the afternoon, if not more. And then tonight things clear out. Tomorrow and the day after, a lot of sunshine but cooler temperatures. Another front headed our way, still back to the west, will kind of slice our temperatures down another couple of degrees as we head into Thursday. Still some rough winds and wave action out there leading to those small craft advisories, gale warnings, lake wind advisories, rip current advisories, high surf advisory. You know what I'm talking about. Not a good day for boating, obviously. Even experienced boaters would think one thing, I want to be back in port. So not a good day for boating. The good news is that our tide gauges are showing only about a foot above average or a little more tide heights currently, so that's good news. Our tides are a little bit lower this morning, and as we progress through time, our winds will become a little bit more northwest, so watch for that. That'll also see some decrease in wind speeds during the overnight. Over the week ahead, we'll look for temperatures hovering around average for a couple of days and then knocked down below average by the next front coming through on Thursday. Scott?
Looks pretty nice. Thank you, John. Touching story this afternoon out of Chicago. More than a month after a vicious attack in her home, a 94-year-old woman is being honored for her service during World War II. Josephine Rainier is a mother and grandmother. She served 6 years in the Navy and processed soldiers as they came home from the war. She's also a survivor. Last month, she was beaten and robbed while waiting for her daughter in the alley of her Chicago home. Now, the robbers got away with her purse and left her with several broken ribs and a head injury. None of the injuries managed to show when she was honored this past weekend, though. Her family says they're just grateful she's okay.
Well, I'm still recovering. I don't think my ribs are quite healed. And I slowed down an awful lot. But What do you want from 94?
She's a good, kind person who didn't deserve to be beaten, but to have all these nice people come together and honor her, I think it makes her feel special, and she deserves that.
By the way, the men who attacked Josephine were captured and arrested just a few days later. Up next, we're wrapping up dessert in the kitchen with Chef Judy, plus big wins for an American musical romance in the UK. That story next in entertainment news.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we'll ask Dr. Jenny about injectable vitamins, plus healthy dog bones. Linda Carson is back, and Louis Modern is in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
It's fine that other people like you. It's more important that you like yourself. And I'm comfortable with every part of me. Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound assures me that I'm not forgotten. They care that I'm okay. My name is Asha Ida Bell. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Wouldn't it be great if you had a sofa covered in fabric that's kid-proof? Now you can! Introducing Kid-Proof by Roe, now at Bacon's Furniture. For a limited time only, save 40% off Kids-Proof sofas at Bacon. Just look for the little green hand and select from hundreds of different fabrics that resist almost anything life throws at it. Some fabrics repel liquid, and all the amazing styles and comfortable fabrics are easy to clean. Kid-Proof sofas, now 40% off at Bacon's Furniture in Sarasota.
Robotic surgery is changing medicine. The robot has better vision than a human. You can see 10 times better magnification than the human eye, but it takes a human eye to run the machine. In fact, it takes multiple human eyes to treat a patient. We've perfected the team, we've perfected the procedure, and the more experienced the team, the better the quality outcome.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help.
And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
In town? On the town. The Mark offers landmark living in the center of everything you love about Sarasota. Priced from the 700s, spacious residences and elevated club-level amenities create a private oasis in the sky. Promenade shopping and dining put the best of downtown downstairs. Sales gallery open daily at the corner of Pineapple and State Street just south of Maine. The Mark, Sarasota. Presented by Coulter.
So there we have it, a traditional dish that's come back in style just like fashion. It's gingerbread pudding cake, and I think what you're going to really like is how easy it is. You don't have to turn the oven on. So we have that moisture with the molasses. There's some butter, crystallized ginger on top, cinnamon whipped cream, but remember what I told you in the last segment, you can always put a little eggnog and rum in it too. It's so comforting. If you want this recipe and so many more recipes, videos, cooking tips, and restaurant reviews, log on to mysuncoast.com, click on dining. You're going to get to see so many different restaurants, different things going on, openings and closings, and yes, this gingerbread pudding cake. Have a great day and enjoy your cake. Back to you.
Looks delicious. Thank you, Judy. It was Take the Money and Run for Split, the psychological thriller leading the weekend box office with an estimated $40 million. Vin Diesel's action thriller Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage, was second with an estimated $20 million. And historical drama Hidden Figures dropped to number 3, making more than $16 million. Although the musical La La Land is still playing in fewer than 2,000 theaters, that's not stopping it from picking up some top honors. Musical dubbed Film of the Year at the London Critics Circle Film Awards. London joins New York, Boston, Atlanta, Denver, and a dozen other critics groups which have given La La Land their top prize. And the Oscars are still ahead. You ever wondered what happens when cats get a hold of a cardboard box? Well, here's an idea. I think they like it. The staff at Bishop Animal Shelter in Bradenton captured video of their felines having some fun with a few boxes laying around the shelter. First, they sniff the box and then stick their head in it to inspect it before eventually climbing all the way inside. Staff at the shelter say cats love boxes because they offer shelter and security from predators while they stalk their prey. Like they're just fun too. I don't know.
It's like when you give kids an expensive gift, they throw away the gift and keep the box to play with.
Make a fort.
The kids are having a good time, so the kittens. Some pretty nice weather, I suppose, for us compared to what we saw yesterday, but still a little blustery out there. Stay out of the waters. That's my advice for today. Stay out of the waters. No boating, no surfing, no windsurfing, if you can.
Plenty of time this week to do all that.
Exactly right.
John, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day ahead, and we'll see you again at 5 o'clock.